Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am so excited because we're going to be filming our very first reading vlog of the year, and I thought it'd be fun to do a how much do I realistically read in a week with a 9 to 5 job. So luckily I do get to work from home most days, but I do have to go into the office 2 times a week, so that means traveling to and from work, which is not fun, but most of my reading I usually get done after work hours anyway, so I am curious to know how much I actually read. But for this week, we're going to be focusing on 2 books that I really want to finish before the end or by the end of this week. And the first one is Misery. I started reading this one in January, and honestly, I just haven't had the urge to pick it up. It's a little bit of a slow burn in my opinion, and I was expecting it to be more fast-paced and I feel like it's just not the speed that I was expecting it to be. I really want to finish this one by the end of this week because I have been reading it since January and I really want to get through with it. So I am on page 142, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this. I am almost halfway done with it, so this one is a priority. I really want to get through this one. And then the second book I'm going to be reading is my book club book pick, and we're actually meeting on Saturday for book club, so I really need to finish this one by Saturday. But we're going to be reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I don't really know much about this book aside from that it's a YA fantasy. I could not tell you one thing about this story. I hope it's good. I hope I enjoy it because I have to read it by Saturday. So these are the 2 books that I will be reading and focusing on for this video, and I'm curious to know how much I actually read because specifically during the work week, I just don't have as much time to read as I would on the weekends. So today is currently Monday, and we're going to be filming until Sunday, where I will kind of recap my week and see how much I've actually read. So I'm really excited, and let's start reading. Hey guys, it's now Tuesday, so I thought I'd jump on here to do just a quick little update. I was able to read yesterday for a little bit, and I actually noted how much I read yesterday. So I was able to actually read 81 pages of Belladonna and then 18 pages of Misery. So not too bad given that I only had I started reading around 6:30, and then I think I read up until 10, but I did take breaks to shower and stuff, so I think I read for maybe a good 2 hours, and I read 99 pages, so that's not bad. But I thought I'd give an update on Belladonna because I did start this and I am on chapter 10. So far, this is pretty good. I'm sitting at a 3-star with this one for right now, just because I'm not blown away by the story by any means, but I am interested and I can see it going up depending on where the storyline goes, but I am finding it very interesting. The story is a little bit different. I don't think I've read something like this yet in a fantasy book, so I am enjoying the storyline and I am interested to see where it's gonna go. But so far what I've gathered is that we're following Signa, who, when she was really young, her parents end up dying and she ends up becoming orphaned, and she has this really big inheritance that she won't be able to get until she is 20 years old. So she does have to stay with a guardian until her 20th birthday. Now, the way her inheritance works is that whoever her current guardian is, they kind of get a stipend almost to look after her. And of course, the stipend is what has her family interested in taking her in. So they have kind of more of an interest in getting some payout for watching her rather than actually watching her. So she has jumped from family to family because death seems to be following her wherever she goes. And every time she's taken in by a family, something ends up happening where someone dies, whether it's an accident, an illness, something always happens and a family member dies. So we find ourselves in that situation where her most current guardian ends up passing away, so she finds herself going to stay with yet another family, but the relative that she's related to was the mom, and we find out that the mom actually passed away. So she's going to stay with the family anyway, and we find out that she has two cousins there, and one of them, Blythe, is currently sick as well. So when she moves in with her new family, she ends up seeing the spirit of the mother that died. So I don't know how they're related. I think it's her aunt. But she ends up seeing her spirit, and there's essentially this mystery that they have to solve while they're there. So it's an interesting premise. She seems to have a really close connection to death, and I'm really interested to see what that connection turns out to be. But so far, this is sitting around a 3-star. I'm enjoying it, and I can see why a lot of people have read it and have raved about this series. So I'm interested to see where this is gonna go. But I also wanted to talk about Misery a little bit because I did read some of it, and this book is really, I'm so conflicted because I don't know if I'm just not really enjoying it, but I feel like every time I pick up this book, it immediately makes me so tired. I don't know if it's because I'm finding it to be boring or it's just so slow paced that I just my attention span just cannot keep up with it. But every time I pick this up, I can only get a couple chapters in before I am already so tired I just have to go to bed. This one for me right now is sitting at a 3-star maybe. I really had high hopes for this, and I think that might be a big reason why this is falling a little flat for me, because you hear so many great things about Stephen King, but I've heard that this one was supposed to be really good, and a lot of people also rave about the movie that's out there called Misery. So yeah, I don't know. This is sitting at a 3-star for me currently. I'm hoping that this second half of the book is where it really picks up and things start to get crazy, because I'm expecting a horror and I'm expecting to be scared, but nothing like that has happened for me. I'm not scared reading this. There are some scenes that I'm that's crazy, but nothing is scaring me. And for this to be a horror, I wanted it to be more scared, and not jump scary scared, but even just psychologically scared, and I don't feel like I'm getting that. For those of you who don't know, this story follows Paul, who's this best-selling author who ends up in this accident, and he ends up getting found by Annie Wilkes, who's our other character that we follow in the story, and she's his number one fan. But she's also kind of crazy, and she ends up rescuing him and taking him into her home and nursing him, but she's also keeping him captive. And essentially she finds out that Paul kills off her favorite character in his best-selling series, and she's just not okay with it. So she is telling him that he needs to write her Misery's return. And the story is essentially following that. And like I said, it's pretty good. I'm interested in the story, in the whole number one fan kidnapping her favorite author to get him to redo his wrongs, essentially. But yeah, I don't know. This one's just not hitting as much as I thought it was, which is making me a little sad. So I'm really hoping that it picks up towards the second half of the book, because right now I'm just kind of all right, can we keep going? Because it's just so slow for me. But those are the 2 books that I'm currently reading, and those are my little updates. So we'll see how much I'm able to do today, because today is a busier day for me. I am working from home, luckily, but I don't typically have a lot of time to read during the day. I'm using my lunch break now to actually record this, so we'll see if I'm able to read anything during my lunch break as well. But most of my reading is going to be later tonight, but I don't even think I'm going to be able to start reading until maybe 9 o'clock and I'll probably only get like an hour of reading done today. So Tuesdays are not the best day for me to do a lot of reading, so we'll see how much I actually do get done, but that's my update for right now. So yeah, let's see how much I am able to read today, and I'll come back with an update later. Hello, it is now Friday. I think the last time I checked in with you guys was on Tuesday. Wednesday was busy, I didn't get to check in, and Thursday was also busy, so I didn't get to check in. So we've got some catching up to do. Just to quickly summarize how much I've been reading the past few days. Tuesday, I did not do any reading. I was just so busy, so tired. I didn't pick up a book. So no reading done on Tuesday, but just to catch up on Wednesday, I did read 197 pages of Belladonna, and then I read about 28 pages of Misery, so for about a total of 225 pages for Wednesday. And then yesterday, I ended up finishing Belladonna, so I read about 129 pages of Belladonna. So yeah, that's kind of like the little page count for my week so far. So yeah, I did finish Belladonna yesterday. I actually really enjoyed it. I will say I was very surprised at how much I did enjoy this book, mainly because this was a book that so many people have talked about, and I have seen people talk about it and people recommend it, and I just had no interest in reading it. And I honestly don't think I would have ever picked it up if not for it being our book club pick. So I will say I'm pleasantly surprised at how much I did enjoy this. I think I'm settling at around a 3.75. I did enjoy it. I had so much fun with it, but it wasn't by any means mind-blowing. I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed the plot. I really enjoyed the female main character. She was a treat, and the romance in it was not super insta-lovey, but it kind of felt that way at times, where it kind of felt like, I hate you, but now I love you. So overall, I actually really enjoyed this. I think the story was fun. The whole concept of death and her relationship with him was really interesting, and the storyline was just fun. The plot was fun, and overall, yeah, I just had a really good time. I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm interested in continuing the series. I know there's like a few books out. I think there's like 3 more or 2 more. I'm not 100% sure, but I could be interested in continuing this series. So if you've read this series and you really like it, let me know if I should continue it or not, because so far I think it was good. I could see myself continuing the series, but I do have a lot of series that I'm also currently reading, so I don't know if I would prioritize this one. But yeah, I think I'm landing at a 3.75. Signa, our main character, she was just such a cool main character. I really enjoyed reading about her and just her journey, and the setting of this was so fun too, because it gave very much Bridgerton vibes, where it was like her main thing was like she wanted to find love and get married, and she couldn't wait to have her coming out, and it was just like so fun to get like those glimpses of like high society life, but also, you know, everything she's going through with her sick cousin and her relationship with death, and all of those like interconnected things it was just a fun story. Like, I had such a great time reading it. So definitely recommend. 3.75, pretty good. But yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it. And for Misery, I just haven't really read much of it, so I think I'm a little over halfway done with it now. So hoping to finish Misery by Sunday. But yeah, that's my little update. I don't know how much reading I'll get done today, because I think I said today is Friday and it's actually Valentine's Day, so that's fun. But don't know how much reading I'll get done today. And tomorrow, Saturday, is actually book club, so that's exciting, but I don't know how much reading I'll get done tomorrow either. So definitely see how much time I have. This week, for some reason, is just particularly busy. So overall, though, I was able to finish one book, which is really great, and hopefully I'll get to finish Misery 2 by Sunday. But until then, I will check back in with you guys later.
So I got into it and I was like, you know what? And there's a little mystery. There's something we have to solve. And that's what hooked me. And that's what got me too. That's what hooked me. If it didn't have that, I would have not finished it. That mystery took me through the entire ending of that book. And I was, wow.
Is it only a part one or is it there's multiple parts?
There's three.
There's three books that I've checked out.
Hello, my loves. It is now Monday, and that means it's the end of our How Much Do I Read in a Week? So I just kind of want to quickly go over my little statistics from the week. So on Monday, I read 81 pages of Belladonna and then 18 pages of Misery, so it was a total of 99 pages on Monday. Tuesday, I didn't read anything. Wednesday, I read 197 pages of Belladonna and 28 pages of Misery for a total of 225 pages for Wednesday. Thursday, I ended up reading 129 pages of Belladonna. And then Friday, I didn't read anything. Saturday, I ended up reading 37 pages of Misery. And then Sunday, I ended up reading 175 pages of Misery. So I read a total of 665 pages, and I finished both books. So this week was particularly busy for me, and I was able to finish 2 books, so that's pretty good. I also was determined, though, because I did have book club on Saturday, and I really wanted to finish Misery. So I was able to accomplish my goal of finishing these 2 books and just get an idea of how much I read in a week. So 665 pages is actually pretty good, given that I didn't even get to read for 2 days during this week. So not too bad. I will say these 2 books were interesting. So I did, as I said, read Belladonna, which I read for my book club that met on Saturday. And I think I mentioned I rated this like a 3.75. Very much enjoyed this. It was such a fun fantasy read. Nothing too complex about it. Like, honestly, just something to read and enjoy. I surprisingly enjoyed this way more than I thought I was, and would highly recommend, if you haven't read this one, I think pick it up and give it a try, because even in my book club, there's a friend that doesn't really read fantasy books. It's not really her thing, and she gave it 4 stars. So if you're thinking about it, I would definitely pick it up. I think what helps is like there's just like a little mystery to it, and I feel like that mystery element just really added to the storyline. But overall, Belladonna was really fun, and I really enjoyed it and would recommend it for anyone who's curious. And I think this is labeled as a YA fantasy. it really doesn't read very YA, so if that's, like, if you're not into YA fantasies, maybe don't let the YA aspect of it put you off, because that's what put me off. I really didn't want to read a YA fantasy, and it was a lot of fun. So we finished Belladonna, and then I finished Misery by Stephen King. I am very sad to say that I did not enjoy this. I think part of me feels like I should have DNF'd it, but I really wanted to push through. I really was hoping that it was going to pick up, and I just kept hoping for that moment of, this is why everybody likes it, and I just never really got that. I feel like for most of this book, like at least 80% of it, I was just bored. There is a lot of internal monologue going on, and that's not usually a problem for me. I don't mind reading a book that doesn't have a lot of, conversations going on. It's a lot of internal monologue or whatever, but for this one, I think the hype around the book being super crazy, like the main character goes through so much stuff, and I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I feel like the way people described this book and what I read were just not the same. There was a point in this, because I do know that this is a movie, there was a point where I'm like, I see why this makes sense as a movie, but as a book, I'm just so bored. So I ended up giving this 2 stars. Unfortunately, like, this is a horror, and I don't feel like I was scared at all. If anything, I would say that this is more of a suspenseful, slow burn thriller. I don't know. It's so hard to say without giving spoilers, but I just personally did not really enjoy this. The book itself did not have me scared at all. I feel like I was just bored, and at this rate, I was just pushing through just to kind of like know how it all came together. I probably should have DNF'd it, but I don't really like not knowing how things end, so DNFing is not something I'm very good at. But yeah, I don't know. This one just was really disappointing, and I'm really sad that I didn't love it, and I do think I still want to give Stephen King a try. This is the first book I read by him, and I've heard a lot of his books are really great, so I do think I'm going to try another one of his books to see if maybe it was just this one that just didn't hit for me. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But overall, pretty interesting reading week, since I did go from fantasy to a horror. But definitely recommend Belladonna. You should still read Stephen King's Misery if you're interested in it. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that you won't like it. A lot of people love this book. So I think I was just expecting something scary, and I didn't get that. Not saying that there aren't things in here that happen that are kind of like holy crap, but I just personally did not get scared at all with this book. And for it to be a horror, I just wanted to be scared, and I just wasn't. So unfortunately, this one was just a miss for me, but that's okay. I still had a pretty good reading week, and I was finally able to finish this book after starting it in January, so finally able to tick that one off. I was really afraid that it was actually going to put me in a reading slump, because I just had no interest in picking up this book, but when I started Belladonna this week, changed the game. I wanted to read, which I think gave me the motivation to actually finish Misery. So thank you, Belladonna, for getting me out of that slump that I was about to get put into. So yeah, overall, great reading week. Read 665 pages and finished 2 books. I think that's pretty good. And like I said, pretty busy week for me, so I'm really glad I was able to push through these 2 books. But that brings us to the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you've read either of these books, please share your thoughts down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you rated this book, if you loved it, if you hated it. I would love to know. If you've especially read Misery, I would love to know your thoughts on this, because I would just curious to know what other people think of this book, because I really wanted to like this, and I'm so sad that I didn't. But that's okay. It's fine. But yeah, if you read either of these 2 books, leave me a comment letting me know your thoughts, because I would love to know. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would like, comment, subscribe, and I really do hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.